Hello, and welcome to the Everyday Leader Podcast, a place for those of us who take the bull by the horns and lead the heck out of our everyday lives. I'm your host, Kat Rippey, wife, mother, and CEO of Energize Leadership. This podcast is for everyday people, just like us, who tackle life to make the most of it and to make a real difference. Life looks different for each of us, but we all have good days and bad days, and we don't always get credit with bold newspaper headlines or celebrity status. Every week, I'm bringing you everyday leaders who take leadership seriously, whether at work or at home, and everywhere in between. Tune in for life hacks, personal insights, and a good time. Dena Oberst is a sales and use tax accountant and runs her own firm, the Gable Tax Group. I know what you're thinking. Taxes? Ugh! But this leading lady is the opposite of what you are thinking in every single way. I happened upon Dena through a business mentoring and mastermind group and was impressed from the get-go. She is very well put together and is a bright shining light in any room. She is a go-getter and exemplifies so many arenas of great leadership, it nearly takes my breath away each time I interact with her. She's cool, calm, and collected, as any accountant would be. She's also sophisticated, smart, and trustworthy, while at the same time being extremely endearing and relational. She knows how to enjoy a good happy hour and yet can throw down tax lingo that will leave your head spinning. Actually, when she gets into the lingo, she seems to be really talented at making it non-threatening and extremely understandable. It has only been a year and a half since she opened the doors of her own firm, but she is running with gusto. Nothing's going to stop this lady, and I just had to bring her to the Everyday Leader podcast so you can hear her story and glean some insights from someone who took the leap into entrepreneurship and is making it work. Plus, if you need sales tax help, hands down, there is no other. Please join me in welcoming Dena Oberst. Dena Oberst, hello, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Kat. I'm fantastic. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California.
I know. Well, when is it not, honestly? Actually, that's not true. It wasn't yesterday. It was a little bit cloudy.
In Los Angeles, the sun is shining, and so I am another beautiful day.
It's a good day. Well, thank you for joining us here at the Energize Leadership podcast. Really appreciate your taking the time. I'm excited to kind of get to know a little bit more about you and your business and your background. I always find out some really fun things about people that I know but don't know all that well on the podcast. Little nuggets. And so you'll probably learn a couple things about me too. Kind of goes both ways. But we're gonna kind of launch into this thing by hearing a little bit more about your background. So clearly you live in California, as you've just now mentioned, right?
Yes.
Have you lived in California your whole life?
I am born and raised in the Los Angeles area. Yes. Yes, I am the native.
That is rare. You and my husband, probably the only two.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Orange County. Went to school in Orange County and all that. But, after you graduate from college, all the jobs were north in Los Angeles. So I've been in the Los Angeles area for 27 years.
Wow, that's great. So you're 27 years old. That's awesome too.
I know. If that's the case, I'm a really bad looking 27-year-old. Lots of stress.
I don't know about that. Lots of stress. Oh. All right. Well, why don't you give me a little bit of a background about your general journey in terms of getting to where you are today, and then share a little bit about where you are today, because you're doing some cool stuff with your own business. So I'm excited to hear about that too.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I was thinking about this question and preparing for today, and it kind of takes a little journey back because actually, so I'm an accountant. So for those of your listeners that don't know, I'm an accountant by trade, but I'm a sales tax specialist. And, nobody ever grows up saying, I want to be a sales tax specialist. You say, I want to be a veterinarian or an architect or a ballerina, right? But
you wanted to be those things too, right?
Yeah, I just didn't like blood and I didn't want to put animals down, so that wasn't going to work. But, I loved math and I was like, what could I do with math? But really kind of as a young girl, I loved math and I wanted to be an accountant. And I know that sounds so strange as a young girl, but, my parents are self-employed. So I grew up working in my parents' business. And so as a young girl, my parents would take me to their CPA. You know, they'd have to go visit their accountant to do their books. And I was fascinated by the office and the clothes, the suits. I was like, oh my God, I want to wear suits every day. And the ledger paper and reconciling. And so it's kind of like, I guess I was just born to be an accountant, someone that could reconcile the numbers. And, so, you know, I went to college and got my accounting degree and thought, okay, one day I'm going to have my own CPA firm doing people's taxes. And so I pursued that career, but I didn't get started where I wanted. I ended up getting a job out of college at a textile company in Burbank, way far from where I lived, really, doing sales tax and property tax and payroll tax. And I was like, this is fun, but I want to do income tax because I want to open up my own business someday. And I got a call from a headhunter. Now you got to remember, I'm fresh out of school. I get a call from a headhunter and she says to me, Dena, stay in sales tax 2 years. I will call you and place you at a better job. And I thought, okay, that's a weird call, but I don't really want to do sales tax. I want to do income tax and I'm going to stay at this company and move into the finance department and do income tax and learn that. Well, 2 years to the day, Kat, she calls me